Hey gang, I got an offer for you today from LinkedIn. As business to business marketers, your needs are unique. B2B buying cycles are long and your customers face incredibly complex decisions. Isn't it time you had a marketing platform built specifically for you? LinkedIn ads empower marketers with solutions for you and your customers. LinkedIn ads allow you to build the right relationships, drive results, and reach your customers in a respectful environment. On LinkedIn, you have direct access to build relationships with decision makers. Of the 875 million users on the network, 180 million are senior level executives. 10 million are C-level executives. You will also be able to drive results with targeting and measuring with their tools built specifically for B2B. And best of all, they work. Audiences exposed to brand messages on LinkedIn are 6 times more likely to convert. LinkedIn ads also rank number one for security, community, and ad experience as part of the Business Insider's Digital Trust Study. Make B2B marketing everything it can be and get a $100 credit. It's a $100 credit on your next campaign. Go to linkedin.com/MPN to claim your credit. It's linkedin.com/MPN. Terms and conditions apply. Hey everybody, it's Seth. Before we get started on this next episode of Entrepreneur's Enigma with Jackie Hermes of Accelity Marketing, just wanted to say that I was very fortunate to get her on the show. It's a great content on LinkedIn, and I really think she's the more positive influence that we all need. She's honest, she's genuine about the struggles of entrepreneurship and where she's been, where she's going. It's fantastic. So dive into this episode. It's about 12 minutes long, 12 minutes and 32 seconds long to be exact. If you have questions, shoot them over to me. I'd love to get your feedback on the show. Hit me up at sgoldstein@goldsteinmedia.com. Also, if you want to be on the show, hit me up at sgoldstein@goldsteinmedia.com if you have an entrepreneurial journey you want to talk about. Love to meet you and chat with you about what you can bring to the show. Catch you on the flip side, guys. Bye. Welcome to the Entrepreneur's Enigma. This is Seth Goldstein. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 18. I can't believe it. Episode 18 of the Entrepreneur's Enigma podcast. I am here with Jackie of Accelity Marketing and Jackie
Hermes, yep.
Hermes.com, which now, if you see her on LinkedIn, full of great information, great newsletter. Oh my God. I mean, I love it. It makes me feel like what I'm going through is natural. And, you're living the entrepreneurial dream, which I love. So let's get into it. So
let's do this.
Yeah. So Jackie, tell me a little bit about your origin story. You weren't always rocking it on LinkedIn like you are today.
True. I started on LinkedIn, 3 years ago. Whoa, weird. It's kind of crazy. The time has it's flown and inched by at the same time. I think you probably know what I mean. But yeah, it was actually Quentin alums who you probably know from LinkedIn. Q with the hat. He's one that convinced me to get started. And the growth of my company is really closely aligned with when I started growing and connecting and meeting people on LinkedIn. So it's been
how old's your company?
Cool. 8 years.
Wow. And you've been through the roller coaster. If anyone follows you, you talk about the roller coaster, which I love, is because it's what it is. I mean, entrepreneurship is not like, oh, I start a business that goes like this, goes straight up. No, I've been doing it for 13 years, 2 renditions of my company, and now it's sort of going upward, but still there's some downward spots. It's like a roller coaster at an amusement park.
It's true. I mean, they say it for a reason. It absolutely is directly applicable to, I think, what we all experience. Although I think a lot of people make it look like it goes straight up, online.
The Gary V's of the world,
Yeah. Even he has kind of changed his tune a little bit, though, where he's talking a little bit more about like caring and stuff like that instead of like the hustle, the constant hustle.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a hustle, but it's not a hustle like you would find on the streets of Manhattan, trading stuff, on the Canal Street.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of hustle.
Yeah.
So you've been doing this for 8 years. And so, what made you get into the digital marketing space? Like, what was the impetus?
Yeah, I mean, it's what I was doing before I started the company. I was working at a software company who we now serve, running their marketing. It's what I went
Oh
to school.
wow,
It's
Inception.
yeah, weird. I know. And it's what I went to school for too, which I think a lot of people that go to school for marketing don't actually end up in marketing. It can be really hard to get those good marketing jobs. So I'm lucky that I was able to fight my way into one pretty much.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, yep, here we are.
And so you started 8 years ago. I mean, if anyone follows you on social, they know that like it was an uphill battle. It
Sure.
was you start out, you think it's like, all right, let's get that first deal. Can you talk about that first deal, that first like how you had to fight for it? You know, because you talked about that most recently on LinkedIn.
Yeah, gosh, I think that people just think if they go out and talk about themselves, they will get business, and that's super not how it works. I think most people
Oh
neglect the art of selling and how you actually have to really learn how to sell. It doesn't just like fall into your lap. And especially if you don't have the right connections where it does more or less fall into your lap, you really have to know how to hunt people and be really persistent and how to take no. I mean, that can be very defeating at the beginning when people are saying no way more than they're ever saying yes.
yeah, and I always found that I had to teach myself that no was an opportunity to move on to the next yes. And I was always
Hmm.
like, all right, so they're not the right fit for me. They're like, fine, cool, get it. Let's move on. Not wasting more time. Shake it off and keep going. So
Yeah. I mean, 8 years later though, it still can be hard to swallow sometimes. Like when
it
you're
hurts.
yeah, when you're going after a big deal or you put in a lot of time and effort, you really think you're gonna get it, and then you hear no and it's like, man,
You're like,
what went
darn it.
wrong? I know.
Exactly, exactly. And then then something like then the pandemic hits, and it's like, I mean, I have I have an 8-year-old at home. You have at that time had 3 kids at home, right?
Yep, they're 10, 10, and 15. Luckily
Oh my
old
god,
enough.
10, 10, and 50. Oh my god, you had 2 at the same age.
Yeah, I mean, luckily they were old enough to like manage
Hmm.
their own digital virtual school. That's one
Oh,
thing
that
I'm
must have been
thankful
nice.
for. Yeah, I mean, most of my team members have little kids.
Hmm.
Probably like a third of my team has kids, and they're all like under 5.
Oh my
That
god.
I can't imagine. So
No, my
honestly,
8-year-old was impressive. He surprised me, and then all of a sudden I realized he was playing Minecraft while he was listening to school. The
hmm
truth came out, and we took away the Minecraft, and then school went like bottomed out. So we gave him back Minecraft, and then went back up, and we're like, okay, all right, do what you need to do to get through school this year. Exactly. So, but like,
oh,
how is business like being an entrepreneur during a global pandemic? I mean, that's the whole book, being an entrepreneur during
yeah.
that time.
Well, on that topic, my 15-year-old was muting herself and turning off her camera and watching Netflix during school. And I was like, there is not a chance you can possibly be learning if you're doing this.
There's
She's,
multitasking and there's single tasking, and sometimes like Minecraft can be kind of mindless. I guess I
yeah,
still
for
to this
sure.
day I don't understand how he did it because to me
Yeah,
Minecraft is very engaging. But he was doing
yeah,
well, and I'm like, hey, if it's working, go for it.
whatever.
But
Yeah,
but obviously you survived the pandemic. You're
yeah.
doing, your company is doing well. You have your own personal brand going, which I'm loving. It's
Thank
I'm
you.
like cheerleading. I'm like, yes, I feel that. I know that. I've been there. And so I really enjoy your posts. And so, like, what's some good advice you can tell other entrepreneurs out there that or maybe not just getting started, but are kind of like 2 or 3 years into it, or like, am I going to continue to do this, or what am I doing, kind of thing.
I think that one of the reasons that people fail at that stage is because they're trying to do too many things
Mm-hmm.
and they have shiny object syndrome, which it can be very easy to get shiny object syndrome because you see something that's working for someone online or something that someone else tells you and you're like, "Oh, maybe I should go after this other target market or maybe I should do this." Where it's like really you just have to choose a few things that you think you can succeed at and you have to go after them in a very focused manner and try and test and tweak what you're doing. I think most people give up before they have an opportunity to really win at anything
Yeah.
or really build a business. So, I mean, I don't know. I am of the opinion that giving up at that 2 to 3 year stage, if you can afford to keep going and you can
Mhm.
see a light at the end of the tunnel, I think you should keep going.
Yeah, that's the thing I feel like, especially with last year, that the train wreck that was last year.
Hmm.
I feel like a lot of people who did jump ship last year to get a job was financial, but I talked to a lot of my friends that are like I kind of fell into this. I was a journalist for a while. I did sales for a little bit, and then I got into this, and it was never intended, as most people know from my journey, to actually do this as my business. It was to get the experience to go work for a company. 13 years later, I did that once during that time period and didn't like it, so I came back.
Yeah.
But the whole idea is that I feel like people need to this, if they can do it, try and do it. Give it the old college try, or the whole try.
Yeah. Well, I just put something up about this last week, maybe. It's like it's it's a lot harder to make good decisions or make a decision that you are happy with to give up when you're in the middle of a pandemic. Like the circumstances are so unusual now. And I think it's so much easier to give up. And by all means, like if you're not making money and you need to go get a job, I don't know, been
Do what you need to
there. I
do.
think
Yeah, we've
everyone's
all been
been there.
there.
Yeah, but there's also like, I mean, there's a lot of different solutions to
Yeah,
every situation. So I like to look at, not what's happened or why necessarily, especially when it's because of outside forces like a pandemic, but what can I do to fix the problem now and
yeah,
to move
exactly.
forward?
Exactly. And so people can, I mean, we're going to keep this short because I know you're very, very, very busy, which is a fantastic thing. And they can find you on your newsletter and all the goodness on LinkedIn. But also, you can find most of your stuff at JackieHermes.com, right?
Yep.
And then also, and I'm scrolling this at the bottom, and I'll put this in the show notes as well. But
I see
it's
that.
CeltiMarketing.com as well, which is, I think, is a gorgeous website. You do guys great work on that.
Thank you. And I'm launching a podcast in
Ooh.
13 days. You're the
Oh, it's
first to
exciting.
know. I haven't told
Oh, we
anyone.
broke it here. Yay.
I keep pushing back the launch date because I'm all nervous about all the things that need to go into it. And finally, I was like, I have to start telling people. Otherwise, I'm never going
Yeah.
to freaking do this. So
You just got, honestly,
now I'm putting it out there.
if you listen to the first Digital Marketing Dive, that's the other podcast I do, the first episode of season 1 of that, oh my God, it was a train wreck. Oh my God, we were in echo. Everything you don't want to do for a podcast, we did. I said,
Yeah.
screw it. I'm putting it out there. And I wrote in the show notes, like, you have to start somewhere.
Hmm.
You just got to start somewhere, get it up there. Because if you don't, you're never going to do it. You're always going to put it off. So,
Done is better than perfect. And I am trying to not require everything to be perfect. So
yeah. So you
and
want
get
to,
it out there, see what happens.
tell us the name of the podcast, or is that still under wraps?
It is called The Art of Entrepreneurship, which
I love it.
somehow no one has.
Oh,
And
you got the
I like
.com?
to know. No, I did not
Oh,
grab the .com. I'm running it off of my site for now.
yeah.
We're doing incremental steps,
Yeah.
like just
I
trying
usually do
to
the exact
get going.
opposite. Then I realized that literally I just redesigned Goldstein Media, and I'm putting all my podcast websites into Goldstein Media. I feel like that makes more sense.
Hmm.
So but definitely, Jackie, this is awesome. I'm glad we finally got to meet. I've been
Me
a fan for a
too.
while. But definitely follow her on LinkedIn. I mean, her posts are like inspirational, and they kind of make you want to keep going with entrepreneurial journey. So thank you for that. And I think
Absolutely.
your latest post was actually about if you felt like you were kind of in a slog, if you were kind of slowing down, everyone else thinks you're like cruising. And I was like, I feel like that every now and then. I was like, so they're very helpful, make you feel
LinkedIn
like
is
you're not the only one.
LinkedIn's basically my professional diary. It's just
I
all
love
the
it.
messages that I tell myself, and then I'm like, "Oh, I bet other people could benefit from this." So,
And it's working. People enjoy
yeah.
them. So it's
Yeah.
great. So
Thank you. I really
great.
appreciate it.
And so everyone, if you love the show, be sure to go over to the podcast directory of your choice and give us a review over there. We would love to have it. I'm personally in favor of Podchaser because it's not Apple. I feel like Apple's a walled garden, and everyone's like, review us on Apple Podcasts, but not everyone's on Apple. So this is a
Mm,
more Podchaser is a little bit better in my opinion. So, well, Jackie, this has
awesome.
been great. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, everyone. We'll see you next time. That was a great show. Hey, if you're enjoying Entrepreneur's Enigma, please give us a review on the podcast directory of your choice. We're on all of them, and these reviews really help others find the show. Also, if you're getting value from the show and want to buy me a coffee, go to the show notes and click on the link to help me stay awake while I bring you more great episodes to your ears. That's in the show notes, and I look forward to the next episode. Take care, guys.
You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? Keith Smith hosts a great podcast called The Fuel Podcast. Keith, tell us what these fine folks will get out of listening.
Fuel is all about the advertising business. It's like Mad Men for the ears. Every show, I pick on a hot topic to discuss or interview a celebrity from the world of British and American advertising. We chat about all sorts of things, and I try and uncover the real person behind the image using just my powerful charm, incisive wit, and incredible humility.
Awesome. Where can people subscribe?
Wherever they normally get their podcasts, from Apple, Google, Spotify, the MPN website, or just visit my website at thefuelpodcast.com.
You heard him. Go subscribe. This podcast is heard along the Marketing Podcast Network. For more great marketing podcasts, visit marketingpodcasts.net.